Okay, thank you. Good morning, everyone. It's nice to see you again, and thank you all for coming. When we first started, someone was coughing, and you have to pay attention to that because there's a fan there that's blowing cold air into her throat, and that irritated her throat. Be careful when you meditate. Be aware of drafts that come at you. They're very dangerous. They will make you sick. Okay, and that's one way too that the flu and the cold viruses can enter your body is through the wind, through the drafts. There are certain types of yin illnesses that need to ride on the wind to enter your body. So be careful. You have to be part of the Chan practice is to become more and more aware of what's happening to your body. If you don't defend yourself, who will? Okay, so sickness is usually start with two ways, but one important way is from outside. They need to enter your body. Okay, and so be careful. Don't avoid the drafts when you meditate. I can't stress that enough. So when you feel your throat is being irritated and you're coughing, okay, that's you need to protect your throat and get yourself away from the drafts. Okay, so all I had to do is turn off the fan. That's it. Stop coughing. Okay, or you could use some kind of cough drops. Well, we cheat. Thank you. Okay, so that's the nature of the Chan practitioners. The more skilled you are, the more sensitive you are to invasions, to what happens in your body. And that's what it's about, awareness, what's happening. So the awareness first of your body and next awareness of the environment. Okay? So it's in particular, there is this COVID thing here is going around, so be careful. You don't want to catch it and then pass on to the people around you. We've been lucky. We've been operating. We've been open our doors to people who need it for the last couple of years, and we've been lucky in the sense that no one has died of the COVID-19 yet. Knock on wood. But actually, we help a lot of people as well recover from COVID-19. We now to the third wave, where at first I had to do it 2 years ago because I didn't know what it's about. And then this year, it's been my disciples, my students. Now it's the next wave of students, next skill set to see if they can handle it. I feel they can. So I'm saying that not to brag, but to remind you that there are some people who will catch it, especially the children. They really have no protection against it. So I'm committed to helping your children and especially your students, and basically your children. If they get sick, you can contact us. We'll help you for free. Okay? Make sure we keep our children safe. We're too busy nowadays to do it at a bigger scale, but we take care of our people. So if you come to our classes and attend our Chan training, we commit to help you fight this COVID thing here. It's not a big deal for us, trust me. And next is your children. If the children of that are connected to you will help them as well. Okay? Keep that in mind. Maybe some of you don't believe it is okay. We're not going to force you. But if you run out of options, consider us. And don't wait until it's too late. Then it's much harder to deal with it. If they multiply, it takes a long time to fix it. And there's some people in the past who got the ICUs, and for several days or more before they contacted us because they're desperate. The doctors didn't know what to do anyway, so we were able to help them as well in severe cases, because this is not a big deal for us, really. But we're running out of time. We don't have time to do this. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right, today, does anyone have any questions? You have no questions? I would like to talk about something that Master YongHua, my late Chinese Chan teacher, one of my excuse me. See, that's the wind from there. It's okay. There's plenty of ways to deal with it, but it's okay. Yeah, open the windows, same thing. Okay, so my Master YongHua is one of the best Chan teachers I know, probably second best that I know, and I met with, I learned from, and so his knowledge about Chan is incredible. Actually, this man here knows so much. It's a shame. I really feel so bad that I never really had the chance to ask him questions at all. It would be so wonderful to be able to ask him questions that you would not be able to find answers anywhere. That's the kind of wisdom he has. Okay. So he talked about during he used to train Chan very intensively, and so he talked about this during one of those Chan Qis. Chan Qi means you get together and practice Chan for 7 days, 24 hours a day, practically. Okay, we are that hardcore, meaning that you can go very light. If you don't have time, you can come for half an hour, and that's fine. Or if you have time, then we can train you for 24 hours a day and only give you a few hours of rest a day, pretty extreme. And for 7 days in a row. If you do that, you're able to attend 1 week Chan Qi. Qi is Chinese for 7. 7 days like that of Chan intensive training in our environment, you will make progress. Practically everyone made progress. Only in the early days, I could remember a few who didn't make it, but nowadays, if you stuff it out for 7 days, you will make progress. Even fewer than 7 days. Okay, so it's pretty amazing form of practice that we learn from a Chinese. Okay, really superior form of training in meditation. Okay, we highly recommend it. If those of you wish to make progress in Chan meditation, go for it. Okay, and we should have some coming up in the winter here, starting in sometime in December. We will go about this year 9 weeks. Okay, not just 1 week. We do 9 weeks. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, we actually have 10 weeks starting mid-November.
Mid-November?
10 weeks this time.
The 10th is for the Buddha recitation.
No, I believe it's 10 weeks of Chanchi this time, on the schedule anyways.
Who added the 10th week?
I don't know.
Are you sure? No one tells me anything around this temple. So now I have to do 10 weeks? I thought it's 9 weeks. No? I'm too old to do 10 weeks. Wait,
Master, we had a meeting and that was the
we decided 10
conclusion.
weeks?
We decided together.
So you decided or I decided? Okay, you see, you don't realize it, but a week of Chanchi is a lot of work for us. It's so much work to prepare for it. And we basically shut down and just do the Chan training. Anyway, so Master Xinhua used to teach the Chan Qi here. This is a Chinese training technique, very advanced. It's so effective. So he, because back then in 1960s, late 60s, early 70s, his students weren't that high. Okay, so they were primarily in that hippies or in San Francisco, hippies, drug users, and so forth. So he used to give them Dharma talks, give them instructional talks, once in the morning and once in the evening. Okay, so 2 hours a day. That's how he did it to help people, to give them more instructions than typically is the case. But anyway, so he talked about something called reality of things. All right. Shall we go? Does it interest you? Very loud yes right there. I would take that. So he said in Chinese, but I will paraphrase it to reconvey it to you in a way that's more suitable for Westerners. Okay, he says that we take things as real. Okay, 我们当一切都是真的. We take everything as real. That's a Chinese word, but I mellow it down for you. Okay, we take everything as real. Yes or no? Who's not serious about life? If you're not serious about life, what are you going to do? Right? So so it's kind of interesting for this wise man to say, we take everything to be true. Okay? All right? And he says, because of that kind of attitude, okay, you call yourself smart, but from his perspective, as a person with real wisdom, that is confusion. Okay? And true to the wise Buddhist teachers, when they tell you a problem, that means that there's definitely many ways to fix those problems. There's solutions. Okay, and he says, because of that confusion, the nature of that confusion, he says, 是迷惑, it's confusion. And only through cultivation we can awaken and 了解, awaken, 觉悟, awaken, Chinese 觉悟 is awaken, and 了解 and understand emptiness. Questions, comments? I guarantee you, this is not what the a typical professor would teach you. Okay? Even if you go to the university and learn about Buddhology or something, they can tell you about confusion, they can tell you about emptiness, but they cannot tell you about cultivation. Okay? Through cultivation here refers to meditation. You want to do something about your confusion. You want to do something in order to awaken from your confusion, from your dreams. Okay? Then you must cultivate. And that's Chan, is one form, a very, very effective form of cultivation. Okay? Through Chan, so Chan, the Chan we're practicing, will help you awaken. And will help you understand, 了解, thoroughly understand, not realize. Realize is wrong. Realize is wrong translation. 了解 here in Chinese is to thoroughly understand emptiness. So far, so good? Any problems? Next. What is it we take to be real? We take money, cars, bridges to be real. Okay? Why? Because they have shape and form and are solid. Right? If you see something with your own eyes, and this has a shape, it has form, it is solid. That is, in Buddhism, there's a concept of form. That's it. A form. It has shape, it has a feel of solidity. Okay? Okay? This applies not only to this wooden thing, but applies to, let's see, may I borrow $100 bill from someone? No? Cheapskates. So this, $20. I have to settle with $20. Okay. This, see, has shape, has form, and is solid. See this? So this is real to us. Yes? And that's the nature of our perceptions. Our brains process it. This is our gas money, so can't give it away. Okay? So that's why we take these things to be real. Number 2, on slide number 5. We take, furthermore, so he talked about, number 1, he says about external things that you observed that has shapes, has forms, okay, that feel solid to you, that we take as for real. So far, so good. It's true, isn't it? This is how our world is. It's how we perceive our world. It's real to us. Okay? For those reasons. Number 2. Furthermore, we take our emotions to be real. We're talking about inside now. First is outside. Well, we observe. We hear. Okay? We feel. We touch. We eat. Those are real. We take our emotions to be real. Whether it's love, jealousy. Is jealousy real? No, it's not going to be real. Most of you girls would deny that you're jealous, right? Only men admit it, they're real. Okay? Jealousy, happiness, because they make us feel alive. Therefore, they are real. Isn't that interesting? Whatever makes us feel alive reinforces our conviction is real. Makes us believe is real. Next, number 3. So, number 2 is about our feelings, our emotions. Yes, I feel happy, I feel sad, I love, I like. That's real. Yes? Next, it goes a little bit deeper now. We are proud of our intellect. Smart people like you in Silicon Valley. The only way you survive here is to be smart. Okay? So you're proud of your intellect, your logic, especially educated people are proud of the fact that they are logical creatures. Ask her, for example, from San Francisco, very, very logical. Yes? You, yeah, Apple. Apple, San Francisco. Huh? Okay? Because thinking helps us build our world. 逻辑，因为他们的想帮助我们建造这个世界。Yeah, we build this world with our intellect, with our logic. Therefore, it must be real. So far, so good? Sorry, this is not going to help you with your lectures at the school. Don't think the kids will be interested at all. But you can tell no, all kids, you don't know what I really want to tell you besides mathematics. Number 4. He's very thorough. Even when we don't think about it, our bodies continue to function. The heart keeps pumping blood, heat is generated, therefore, this life is real. Oops, we just lost a monk. Huh? That's why we're so serious about everything, because we think they're real. Okay? Questions or comments? Anyone disagrees? One monk disagreed already. Tuan, you disagree or not? Yes, you disagree. Okay. Why is the case that we take everything to be real? Because of something called the ego. The ego, based on the Buddha's wisdom, Buddha being the wisest person there in the world, in the universe, he explains why it is so. Because our ego, this is, by the way, this is Mahayana wisdom, is not available in other, not even Hinayana, not for sure not outside of Buddhism. There's no such technology, okay? This is Mahayana wisdom. This is Buddha's, when he taught his advanced disciples, he says, this thing called the ego actually has 5 components, okay? And this ego here constantly, I added the word constantly, not in Chinese, but the ego decides and judges. And so, who decides it's real? Your ego decides it's real. In other words, if you think something is real, like money, you all agree money is real, yes? To me, money is very real. Okay? It's because there's a thing inside of us in our psyche called ego that judges and that decides it's real. Questions or comments? Brady, are you still with us? Brady from Wee Mountain Temple. Go ahead.
Yes, Master.
You still with us? Number 2.
Absolutely. Without doubt.
Okay. So I continue then. This ego, on slide number 9, this ego deciphers what is desirable or not, and that's what the wise people, the Buddhists, wise Buddhists, know it as attachment. Attachment is attachment to something that is desirable or undesirable. Some people, are attached to undesirable things. Okay. Okay. So deciphers here. 解读, 解 this is do, right? 解读. So 解 is to dissect it. Okay? 解 is dissect it, cut it up. Okay? Like you cut up a durian. Anyone likes durian? Yes, red. That's our fire alarm? Ah, okay.
I just want to comment that I don't think the Chinese is from Master YongHua. It's not his word.
What is not from Master YongHua?
Yeah, it's not. It's not the way he speaks Chinese. It's too modern and intellectual. I think. I think someone probably translated that from English. I would guess. But
Okay, it has
just
been,
one comment.
I don't know where this came from, was the slide file, it's dated like 2019, 2020, 2019.
Yeah, he will
so
not
I
use,
forgot.
Yeah, he will not use words like 解读. It's not like what Chinese from his time would say.
Uh-huh. Go ahead, Taiwanese. That's a Chinese person. This is Taiwanese person. They don't necessarily agree.
I don't quite remember if Master did the English first, said that it's from Master YongHua, and then I think I did the Chinese. Yeah. I think I
So-
translated from English to Chinese, but I don't remember. Master, you did the English.
I did it in English,
So English is your words,
my words.
but it, yeah.
The Chinese is so Taiwanese, clearly, yeah. And the Chinese
No,
person
the Chinese-
really
it was
objects
not
to it
from-
immediately.
No, it's modern. It's modern Chinese.
Too modern.
No,
I
from
can't
the
get anything
English
past these real
to the
Chinese people.
It's not from Master YongHua, but the English was from Master YongHua or some from Master reading something from Master YongHua's
Yeah,
explanation.
yeah. This
That's
is
his Master's words.
definitely 2019. I wouldn't dare say anything original. Okay, so back then I was a lot more conservative. So deciphers here, deciphers here describes the nature of your intellect, of your ego. It discriminates. Okay? It's constantly discriminating what's desirable and what's not desirable. I like it, I don't like it. All right? And if you look back in your lives, when did you start doing that? Pretty early in your lives, remember? Huh? Very early on, you decide you like this, you don't like this. Okay? So, and it's reinforced throughout the years. So this is how your ego becomes more entrenched over time. We just talked a while ago about how much more difficult it is to get rid of the COVID once it's entrenched. Think about your own ego. It's just a lot worse. Okay, a lot more difficult to decipher the nature of the ego. Okay? And next slide. Because our attachments, we can't put things down. You can't see through them. That's Master Hsuan. You agree? The Chinese person? No, you disagree. It's too modern, still too modern.
I think he used words like 那是迷惑. It's
No, I'm not talking about Chinese.
Oh, yeah,
because we
English.
can ignore the Taiwanese translation for practical purposes.
My only point is that there's no point to read too much into the Chinese. That's
Yeah.
why I was.
So, okay, thank you for pointing it out. You're right. 解读 is really not the way he talks. That's true. Okay, because of attachments. Okay, this wise monk says we cannot put things down. We cannot see through them. Okay, 不能放下，看破. Okay, all right. So that's that's what it takes in order to be able to wake up, is to be able to let go, put things down, okay, and see through them, meaning you see beyond the appearances. You see beyond the nice words, see beyond the harsh words. Okay? That's what it takes, but we can't. So far, so good, and that's called confusion. Yes. Yellow.
Good morning. I was just curious, is that the same when, like, you are in a situation and you have like a gut feeling that something's not quite right? Is like you have a gut feeling, but yet you logically don't want to agree with it, so you just do it anyway.
Right. So that's what happens. When you we talked about that actually, and that's what we talked about, the concept called gut feeling or instinct, which is quite strong in women. Okay, stronger in women. Okay, men are too insensitive to be aware of it. It's the same in men too, but it's not as loud in our mind as you are. Okay, because here's what happens. Okay, I'm gonna sound sexist again, but but there's no surprise to all of you. Like especially Brady. Brady is resigned to the fact that I'm very, very opinionated. Okay, what happened is that this instinct here that women have, and again, brace yourself, boys. Okay. Instinct that women have stronger than us, okay, it's because they don't think as often as we do. Too much. Too much. So that's what happens. When you think, then the ego is engaged. because it's engaged, okay, the instinct cannot kick in. But when you meditate and you stop thinking, that's when your instinct becomes stronger. So that's what happens. When you meditate, you learn to stop thinking so that you let your instinct or your wisdom. Instinct is the wisdom from your nature, from your inherent nature. It's a Buddhist jargon. So that is able to come to the fore. Whereas when you're thinking, when you're processing, the ego, the thinking mind, gets in front of the instinct and says, no, I know. Because it can justify itself, right? It says, I know it's red because scientifically speaking, the wavelength is so and so forth. So it can justify itself. Whereas the instinct is just a vague thing. It cannot be justified. It's multidimensional. Therefore, it's very difficult to justify. Doesn't mean it's inaccurate. Just because you can justify it doesn't mean it's true. Doesn't mean it's right. So far, so good? Okay. So the instinct there is go ahead, Wei Mountain Temple.
It's very, very interesting you said that because this is exactly what I wanted to know. I had a question in my mind, and that was kind of exactly, you answered it completely.
And what was the question?
It was kind of just like, thank you, but also it was really interesting because that's what I was, I wanted an answer about that. I've been wanting to know more about that sort of thing.
Okay. So there are two levels of comprehension. The one that's based on our thinking mind, okay? That's how we connect with the world. We connect with others through our thinking mind. If you keep on telling people, my instinct tells me, or my instinct tells me, I go by my instincts alone, they're going to think that you're crazy. That's the way it is. So it's both. Life is about using both. You cannot. If you say I only use my mind, my logic, then you're missing out on the other aspect of your. You are underutilizing your other abilities, if you will. Okay. So it has nothing to do with the genders or educational level at all. It has to do with the fact when you are able to stop thinking, stop your thinking mind. Okay? There are two of them. Let me put it this way for you. There are two of them. There's a thinking mind and there's a non-thinking mind, or your instinct, if you will. Okay? As long as a thinking mind is in control, it gets in front and intercepts everything. Whereas if you make it stop, you're able to stop through meditation. You have the skills to actively make it stop. Stop. Hey, stop it. And you can stop. Then this guy, who is constantly functioning, but it yields to the thinking mind. You see this? That's the dynamics of the two. The instincts are always there. That's why she says, yes, I have this gut feeling here, but my mind says, but this is how I will have to justify myself. Although my instinct tells me it's not what I'm explaining. Okay, what I'm describing actually is a lot more. Okay, the gut feeling. Okay, the gut feeling is multidimensional. The thinking mind is linear. You need to have logic. A implies B, which implies C, which implies D, and so forth. The thinking mind, the logic is linear. The deduction is linear. whereas the instinct is multidimensional. It's all at once. Okay? So for example, the creative process is what? Thinking or instinct? When you create something, none of you is an artist, clearly. Oh yeah, right, I'm in the wrong place for this. Okay? The creative process is predominantly thinking. Instinct. Okay? Jesus said, I have this feel that I have this thing that's fuzzy things here, and I get closer and closer, and that's how I translate it. Okay? With my thinking mind, with my hands, with my feet. Okay? With my words. I come up with something called poetry. Okay? So it's a dual process. Creative process actually begins first with the instinct, and then it's finished by the thinking. Agree, disagree? That applies not just to the artist, it's also to your work. Think about it. You need to write a program. Okay? It's a similar process. If you only depend on your thinking mind alone, you're very slow. You're very limited. All right. So confusion is the fact that we refuse to put things down. We now say, no, this is me, I insist. And we cannot see through them. Kind poets that we cannot see beyond the appearances, beyond the marks. The technical jargon is called mark. Externals, things that you can observe, can hear, can smell, can touch. All right? Taste. Those are marks. Okay? Next. Yes, go ahead, Red.
Master, when you cultivate and you start having rashes, is the manifestation from the rash going to certain spot on your body, can it be a sign of your attachment of something? Or am I just overthinking this?
You're overthinking it.
Okay.
Why does your instinct tell you?
Because I know that I'm very attached to my son. I think that's like one of the only thing that I'm attached to in this world right now. And it seems like my rash is moving towards my C-section area. And it's staying there.
Too much information.
Okay, thanks.
No wonder your partner is not feeling very good. Yes, Red.
I just want to make a comment about this, what the master explained. I think that's really wonderful. I realized that my observation at the workplace is that actually people do value instinct, and then I do hear like people comment for like senior people, like they have great gut feelings, they have great judgment instincts. That's actually a very positive thing, highly regarded, even in very sort of.
Stop. Can I interrupt you before I forget? My mind is very fragile.
Okay.
Especially the executives, they rely on instinct a lot more than you think.
Yeah.
Because, listen, if you're a good judge of character, anyone who feels who's a good judge of character, that's your instinct. Okay? You just feel that you can trust this person, that this person is a good person or an evil person, and so forth. You know what I mean? Okay? That's instinct right there. You cannot put your fingers on, but you say, and then you say, you like this person and say, you don't like this person, you dislike this person. That's why I do constantly. I dislike this person, and then I have to explain to my disciple, you see the way, he doesn't look straight. He keeps on glancing, at you, and so forth. So you justify through communication, but actually it starts first with your instinct. It says, I don't like him, okay? Or I like him. Yes? Okay. So executives, by the way, they need to depend on they need to be able to judge people very quickly in order. Why is it necessary? Because they waste less time on unuseful people. Okay? You think you're equal, huh? They're fair. No. They are constantly trying to avoid wasting their time on people that are not helpful at all. Okay? So they go by instinct a lot more often than you think. Sorry, go ahead.
Yes, that's definitely true. I was just going to say that, so it's actually highly regarded even in like a tech organization. And then, but the master, you point out something very important is that it's good. It's key to also justify and explain, communicate that through a more logic method, and that's how kind of.
Yeah, it's dual. You cannot say, my instinct tells me. Even an executive, my instinct tells me. He better be able to communicate his peer and say, let's do it together because. So it's a dual. It's a parallel process. In order for you to function well in the world, you need to have both the thinking mind and the instinct, both very sharp. Okay? When you are a peon, is it, you use peon word? Okay? You are judged on your mind, your logic, okay? But the executive, that's why they need both to balance out, okay?
Credibility and get consensus and support that way.
Absolutely. So what happened is that when a techie person gets promoted to become a supervisor and manager, then they have to learn, they don't realize they have to learn how to use the instinct, okay, on top of their technical abilities. That's part of the development process. Okay? Go ahead, Way Mountain Temple.
When I was younger, I went up to this jazz camp, and I was playing an instrument, and the teacher said, you have the feeling, you want to get out, but you just don't know how to communicate it on your instrument yet, and that really kind of explains what you're talking about. And Steve Jobs, he actually said the instinct is really important. He said, you can't connect the dots moving forward, but you can connect them moving backwards. So you kind of just have to trust your heart and follow that, and eventually it should lead you to the right place.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Absolutely. Anyone else? So slide 11 here says cultivation. We talked about cultivation, and Master Cheryl talked about it, is the Buddhist systematic method to unveil the functioning of the ego. These sages, they understand the inner workings of that thing called ego. Unless you understand how it works, you will not be able to corner it and kill it, put an end to it. Make sense? Go ahead, question.
Yeah, I think this is Master's explanation of Master Xuanhua's teaching, not Master Xuanhua's explanation.
So I'm explaining what I explained.
Yeah. You're explaining something that Master Shenhua talked about in the 100 Days Chan, which I can't recall what it was exactly. And then you wrote this explanation.
Yeah. And now I find myself having to elaborate more on top of it.
That's all I'm trying to clarify. Yeah.
Yeah, you Taiwanese thing. I find it fascinating. Maybe that's why I wrote this, because I found that there's so much wisdom there, so much insights that is so invaluable from this great sage, and that's why I really regret deeply in my life that to not really be able to be there and receive his teaching. It would be an incredible experience, let me assure you. Wei Mao.
A couple weeks ago, I asked you about how to accomplish something that you're envisioning, and you said that you personally, you have vowed to serve the Buddhas, so you don't keep anything in your vision. So when you vow to, serve the Buddhas, does that mean you let go of your own ego and the intuition comes to you through the Buddhas? Does that make sense?
No, that's two different things. We're talking right now, today, we're talking about how we go about making decisions. How do we interact with the world? How we work with each other, okay? Because this thing called the ego that's always there. So we need to learn how to work with it. That's what the Buddhists excel at doing, the Mahayana Buddhists. Hinayana, they're pretty good. The Arhats in particular is pretty good. Pratyeka Buddhas are pretty good. Those are the sages on the Hinayana persuasion. They're pretty good. But they still don't have the clear understanding of the inner workings of the ego the way that the Mahayana Buddhists understand. There's no comparison. Because when I listen to the fourth stage Arhat, the Hinayana sages explain about their mind, the ego, and stuff like that, it's like night and day. Okay, so that's why I was so fascinated by Master Shenhua's explanation on this thing here, cultivation, ego, and so forth. And so today is running out of time. So the point here is that this cultivation here, or Chan here, is designed to help you learn how your mind works and utilize it at the right time, and not be overly dependent on it like ordinary people, because you're too dependent on your thinking mind. It's called confusion. You see, now you understand, Xianxin, why I have to explain this again, because I explained my explanation, because we take it to a different level than before. Okay? This is so interesting, because your world is the world of the thinking mind. Okay? But your training, your education never gave you the skills to utilize both your thinking mind and your instinct. They're equally important. Okay? For everyone. Master Shenhua, for example, a great sage, he operates more on the instinct level. Executive, okay? Instinct level. Okay? But also what he does is to teach. To teach, you need to talk. You need to talk in a way that you can understand, I can understand. That's the thinking mind right there. If you talk only your instinct, you say, my instinct tells me this, my instinct tells me that. And you say, you are nuts. Right? So that's why you need both. Master Shenhua, what happened is that when he teaches, the instinct, let me describe to you the percentage. Are you curious? How much is instinct, how much is thinking? Okay? The instinct is 5%. The 95% is communicate with you. How else can you communicate with someone else? Isn't that interesting? So, the point being that I'm going to stop today and close with this thought. The point is that Chan meditation enables you to control 95% of your communications. Because you can stop your thinking or start it at will when necessary, if you have that skill. Questions, comments? Yes, Red.
So through our cultivation, are we able to figure out what we're attached to and not let the ego get in the way of getting rid of that attachment, or we have to be at a certain level of emptiness before we can actually get rid of our attachment?
We're not at emptiness yet, but we're coming there. Maybe next time I'm here, next week, we probably talk about something else. Because I need a live person to frown at me and say, here he goes again. For me to be able to interact with you, you know. I can't go by instinct alone. I can sit here and say, oh, my instinct tells me I'm in Los Angeles. My instinct tells me that in Korea, they're like this. It doesn't work like that. I need to see your face. Okay? Approval, disapproval, and so forth. You know? Yes, Red.
Master, I was a little bit confused. You said Chan meditation controls 95% of that. That's the thinking part, right?
Of the communication process. Okay?
That's Chan meditation helps that?
Chan meditation develops the skills, helps you develop the skills to be able to control your thinking mind, when to kick it in, when to stop it.
How does Chan meditation helps the thinking part of the balance? Like
You recognize how your thinking mind functions. That's when you can start and stop at will. Like you figure out something called, when you drive, something called a brake. You know, stop. I don't know how useful it is for you, but you know, stop. And then you let me see, let me think, stop. Let me think. That means actually for us is stop. Let's stop thinking and let the instinct move in and take over. And then so they stop. You're braking, you're pumping the brakes. And this is a skill. It's very, very useful. It's a fascinating world, let me tell you. The more you become skilled at Chan meditation, the more swiftly you can stop your thinking. Stop. Okay? So for example, never mind about putting things down and emptiness and so forth. Let's say you're working, you're engaged in a heated discussion with someone, okay? And what it does is that with that meditation skills, you can take a break. So that you can last longer than your opponent. Yes? The guy sees you with red face and try to argue with you, but they don't realize that's just a facade. Actually, your mind stopped working already. So you drain that person. If you're into negotiations and so forth, That's what you do. You train them so that you let them win for the first half hour. The last half hour when the contracts are signed, that's when their mind is so confused. That's when you get the upper hand. Let them win first. Drain them, and then. That's what salespeople do, by the way. Great salesmen do that. Okay? All right. Time is up. Boy Mountain, go ahead.
Master, how do we train them again?
How do you train again? Oh, you cross your legs. You start with crossing your legs and enduring the pain. And it says, think about it this way. Look at it this way. Let's say you're having an argument or negotiating, okay? And the other person is applying pressure on you, right? They're cranking it up. They're applying more pressure and pressure on you, okay? You know what pressure translates into? The pressure translates as the heat inside of you, okay? The tension in your body. Yes or no? When you get into an argument with someone else, that's what happens to you internally. Yeah? Your body builds up, the heat builds up inside of you, so the head is not thinking as clearly anymore, as fast as before. So because your mind is too engaged in spinning like crazy. It's in survival mode, okay? It spins. When your ego is in survival mode, it can't help but spin like crazy. It's fighting for its life, okay? What else is more important? Let's face it, okay? So when that happens, you become a victim of the pressure. Whereas if you are able to stop thinking, okay, because you are only reacting to the external pressure from your opponent, okay? If you disengage, you learn to disengage, then your body cools down and your mind is freer, you think faster and so forth, and that's when you negotiate much better. Okay? So that's why it's very, very useful skill. Okay? And that only happens because you're able to what? Not let the pressure, the pain bother you. And that pressure and pain that comes through your training. The ability to bear the pressure and the pain comes through your sitting there and enduring the leg pain. And your body tells you, I better unbuckle, I can't take this anymore, but that's your thinking mind says, I can't take this anymore. Your instinct tells you, no, hang in there. You see, there's a tension right there. And if you're able to take that pressure from the internal pressure that is far, by the way, could be far stronger than your opponent. So the higher your level of skills, the pressure you put on yourself is stronger and stronger and stronger. So your opponent may be smarter, may be more educated, may be richer, but they don't have the mental strength that you have through your training so that they cannot apply the pressure on you. And that's why you're still able to be clearer-headed and faster and last longer. You see, this is based on the understanding of the inner workings of your ego. How your ego engages and remains stuck, and it spins its wheel like crazy, you understand that, then you know how to function at the proper times. Okay. So the question earlier about, when you meditate and you have the rash and thing like that, it's a different topic, different kind of concept. Okay. It's not meant for you to understand, because it's too complicated for you to explain that to you. Just all you need to know is a good thing. No, that the rash or whatever. It keeps it moving. It's a good thing. You wouldn't believe the rash I have. I speak from experience. It's not BS. Okay, it moves like crazy. It's a good thing. Okay. All right, time is up. We pick it up another time. Okay. Maybe in a couple of weeks when I come up here, we continue this. Okay. Or you want me to continue next weekend? Okay. Either way, right? I cannot see your face, so you're old. Okay, thank you. That's go have lunch.